I paid less than $250 for this Dell Inspiron laptop. It's an Inspiron 155583 manufactured between 2019 and mid-2020. Despite its age, it's actually not a bad machine. It's equipped with an Intel Core i7-8565U, NVIDIA MX130 graphics with 4GB of video memory, 4 more gigabytes of DDR4 running at 2400 MHz, and a 1TB 5400 RPM mechanical hard drive. It's very weird to have equal RAM and video memory, but realistically the system RAM is going to bottleneck long before the MX130 ever does. The main bottlenecks are the V8 display panel, the slow hard drive, limited RAM capacity, and the battery, which lasts less than a minute but on a full charge before dropping to 0%, so it's very clearly shot. The question is, how much can we realistically improve this machine, and does it make sense financially? To begin disassembly, I will remove the 10 screws on the bottom panel. 5 of these screws are captive, meaning they'll remain attached to the bottom shell once loosened. One design choice I really didn't like was the DVD drive. The reader itself is easy to remove, but Dell hid 2 additional screws underneath it, and they're a different size from the rest. It's not a major issue, but it unnecessarily complicates servicing, especially when you don't notice the screws and attempt to lift the panel off. That being said, Dell is still one of the more repair-friendly manufacturers, which was one of my reasons for buying this system in the first place. The specific decision, though, could have been better. Once all the screws are removed, insert a plastic pry tool along the seam and carefully release the plastic clips around the perimeter. With the bottom cover removed, we get our first look inside. Surprisingly, it's fairly clean overall. Before proceeding, disconnect the battery. This reduces the risk of short circuits while working on the motherboard. Next, I'm going to remove the heatsink and fan assembly. When loosening or tightening heatsink screws, do so gradually in a cross pattern. Avoid fully tightening or loosening one screw at a time, as uneven mounting pressure can crack the CPU die and ruin the entire laptop. Once removed, I can begin cleaning. Unlike my old MacBook, the fan cannot be disassembled for deeper cleaning. We'll clean it as thoroughly as possible though with a brush. After cleaning, apply fresh thermal paste to both the CPU and GPU, then reinstall the cooling assembly. Moving on to the RAM, originally I was going to replace the 4GB with the system's max capacity of 32GB in dual channel. However, with the current RAM shortage of late 2025, that didn't make much financial sense for this project. So instead, I recycled 16GB of RAM from the server build that I featured previously. For storage, I initially planned to replace the 1TB hard drive with a 2TB SATA SSD. However, upon opening the laptop, I found an available M.2 slot supporting PCIe 3.0 drives. This changes things significantly as NVMe provides much higher bandwidth and lower latency compared to SATA. So I purchased a second-hand Crucial P3 with a 1TB capacity for $60. The plan is to install Windows on the NVMe drive while keeping the mechanical hard drive for bulk storage. With the upgrades complete, reconnect the battery and clean any dust from the bottom shell before reinstallation. Reinstall the bottom cover, secure the 9 primary screws, or install the 2 smaller ones, slide the DVD reader back into place, and secure it with its 1 screw. With that, I think this laptop is ready for a test. Since the internal drive was previously wiped, Windows needs to be reinstalled. Fortunately, the NVMe drive makes this process much faster compared to a mechanical disk. During installation, I encountered the comment "Windows cannot be installed on this drive" error. In most cases, this is just bad partition formatting. Thankfully, it's an easy fix. Just press Shift and F10 to open the command prompt. Type disk part, list disk, select disk X, clean, convert GPT. This wipes the drive and converts it to the GPT partition format. Close the command prompt, refresh the installer window, and the installation should proceed normally.
$2,000 later.
Yeah. With Windows installed and data restored from a backup, this laptop is ready to go. So let's see what these specs are capable of. When it comes to performance, the i7-8565U is a 4-core, 8-thread processor. By modern standards, it's not high-end, but it's still perfectly usable for productivity tasks. 1080p video editing is entirely possible on this machine, even across multiple timelines. In fact, this entire video was edited on this laptop. Let me know what you think. In terms of gaming, Minecraft 1.8 with Luna Client runs around 120 FPS, even with a 32x texture pack. No! That was such a good game. Rocket League averages around 60 FPS with occasional stutters, which is reasonable for an MX130, but overall, not that great. For daily tasks, schoolwork, programming, browsing, and live content creation, the system performs well. Interestingly, although I plan to replace the degraded battery to restore use away from a socket, the SSD upgrade reduced power draw compared to the mechanical drive. Look, it's on 100%. Normally if I take this out, it would straight away say your battery is very low, but now nothing. It's at 99%, by now it should be at 70. The battery still needs a replacement though, because let's be honest, a laptop without a battery is just a bad desktop. I may cover the battery replacement in a future short, but for now, the system is usable on wall power. Total spent is around $305, not including the batteries. I have not yet replaced it. But this still performs significantly better than most budget $500 laptops brand new today. As for my previously featured MacBook where I forced Sequoia onto unsupported hardware, that system has since been sold and is being put to good use by its new owner. That's it for today. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.